Hey y'all! It's the postseason! Playoffs start in 3 days. It's all super exciting. Let's talk about what happened last week to get us here. On Tuesday, we beat the Devils 5-4 in overtime. Cam Atkinson scored 2 goals. Panarin, Jones, and Bjorkstrand all had multi-point nights. And the Jackets scored 4 unanswered goals, including a Pierre-Luc Dubois overtime winner. Notably, Panarin's assists were enough to tie the Jackets' all-time points in a season record, previously held by Rick Nash. On Thursday, we lost 4-5 to the Penguins in overtime, but it's fine because we still clinched the playoffs after that game. Josh Anderson was back after his injuries. Zach Werenski scored a goal to tie Seth Jones for the franchise defensive in scoring record, and Pierre-Luc Dubois, Wonder Rookie, not only won 8 faceoffs against Sidney Crosby, but also challenged Crosby to a fight. He's a real Jacket now. Which isn't even really to mention that Pierre-Luc Dubois also had a multi-point night that pulled him level with the Blue Jackets' rookie point record established by Zach Werenski last season. Brad also had a multi-point night, but that's basically old hat by now, right? It was a pretty back-and-forth game, actually, and it really could have gone either way, but Phil Kessel. It was honestly not the worst game that we played against the Penguins this season, and it was good enough to get in the playoffs, so I'm certainly not complaining. Then, finally, on Saturday, the Jackets lost 4-2 to the Predators. And there are 3 reasons that I am super cool with that loss. 1, while the Jackets did ice a team, we were resting pretty much all of our top scorers and defenders. When asked about it, Tortorella said it's because they're guys that have been playing beat up all season, and because the results of that game wouldn't affect anyone's playoff chances except for our own. So, But also that, despite what people may have thought, the Jackets were not just trying to avoid playing the Penguins first round. But that leads me into my second reason. Because we lost this game, and because the Devils also lost and the Flyers won, we aren't playing the Penguins first round! Wow, I'm just so happy! Reason number 3 is that we got to see some new people. Robinson, our new winger, who's been compared to Josh Anderson by several reporters, is fast. Chorney is a decent D-man, though I should have expected that from what I heard from Caps fans when we claimed him. And Brand Dubinsky, who hasn't gotten the same opportunities, mostly because of his own declining play this year, looked better. Especially in the second half of the game, looked way better than he's looked all season, I think. Shock and surprise all around. Some other things. Oliver Bjorkstrand and Pierre-Luc Dubois are officially the only Jackets to lace up in all 82 games, and PLD is the only CBJ rookie that has ever done it. Cam Atkinson not playing in this last game broke his streak, but he had a 9-game point streak going before that. Panarin also broke his streak not playing in the last game, but his was a multi-point game streak, and it lasted 5 games before it snapped. He leads the Jackets in multi-point games with 19. Who won that trade again? Zach Werenski and Seth Jones not only broke the Blue Jackets' defensive scoring record multiple times, but finished out the season tied at a respectable 16 each. It's pretty fitting that the Rovers, who claimed they were going to aim for 20 goals each this season, were able to share the record at the end of the day. Speaking of records, Pierre-Luc Dubois now holds the records for rookie goals with 20, rookie points with 48, and rookie games played once again with 82. He's also tied for first in rookie multi-point games with 12. He is, overall, third on the team in points, third in goals, and top 5 in assists. I've been thinking a lot about when we drafted him, and last season people called him a bust, and he's certainly no Calder finalist Zach Werenski, especially not this season with Keller and Barzell and Besser, but the guy played on our top line pretty consistently, when this time 2 years ago, he wasn't even a center. In Yarmo, we trust. Anyway, now that the regular season exciting stats are done, let's talk playoffs. In the East, the Devils will play Tampa Bay, the Bruins will play the Leafs, the Flyers will play the Penguins, and your Columbus Blue Jackets have finished in the first wildcard spot and thus will play the top of the Metro Washington Capitals first round. I'm just so happy, so excited, so glad to be playing someone in the playoffs that isn't the Penguins. The first game is in DC this Thursday at 7:30 Eastern. I'm not going to preview it, mostly because I am terrified that I'd end up jinxing it, but here's what we do know. Foligno and Nunavara are both going to be back in, finally. Jack Johnson is going to be out as a D, and Milano is unfortunately, in a decision that Torts said was hard, the odd forward out. Though it makes sense if it was between him and Doobie, mostly because Doobie has playoff experience and also is one of the only Jackets who's actually good at face-offs. Meanwhile, Sonny's played one game of NHL playoffs, I think. We called him up, I know, last season, but definitely didn't get any significant ice time. Also, Sonny Milano has consistently not been super great defensively, something that could be incredibly dangerous against the Capitals' offense. Torts said that he will for sure be messing with the lines as we go, so I'd expect that Sonny might get some time in later games, especially if Doobie's performance is less than impressive, something that is always a worry with how he's been this season in general. The only time that this version of the Jackets, the post-deadline Jackets, who have been better than I think the Jackets have been all season, ever played the Capitals was on trade deadline day, where we beat the Caps 5-1, and that one goal is arguably Jack Johnson's fault. We have no idea who the Caps goalie is going to be, and the coach doesn't seem like he's going to tell anyone until the game, but just looking at how the team's been the last couple of weeks, offensively and defensively, I think that I like our odds. One thing's for sure, I think this series is going to be really, really interesting. But that's it for this one. I will see you next Monday to yell about the first 2 playoff games of the season. But until then, thank you so much for watching. Hit that like if you like this. Click subscribe if you loved it. I'm Lydia. This is Cannon Fire, and we did it, guys. Through December, through injuries and disappointing performances, through clawing our way back up the leaderboard after losing skids, through all of that, we made it. For the first time ever, the Columbus Blue Jackets have made back-to-back playoffs. It's the playoffs!